Hello, listeners. Mallory Wilsey here, Chief Producer of the Enrollify Network, and I want to take just a quick moment to tell you about another show on our podcast network that I think you'll love. Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager is your ultimate guide to understanding the do's, don'ts, and complexities of the higher ed social media ecosystem. Host Jenny Lee Fowler from MIT brings her expertise and passion for social media to the table. Each episode offers a deep dive into real-world examples, dissecting what worked, what didn't, and identifying valuable lessons along the way. You'll get the key insights and tips to help you elevate your own social media game. Make sure your social media efforts hit the mark every time. Subscribe to Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager by visiting podcast.enrollify.org or search for it wherever you love to listen to podcasts.
Welcome to The Application, a podcast focused on actionable takeaways to help you level up your marketing and enrollment management game. I'm your host, Dr. Allison Turcio, Assistant Vice President of Enrollment and Marketing at Siena College. Join me every Tuesday for discussions with some of the best minds in higher ed marketing and enrollment management. The Application is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher ed professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal faves linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. Hi, everyone. In today's episode, we're tackling the impactful strategy of employee advocacy for colleges and universities. Imagine faculty and staff members becoming key players in amplifying your college's message through their personal brands. This strategy isn't just theoretical, it's being effectively implemented in institutions like Carroll Community College under the guidance of marketing leader Maya Demishkevich. With over 15 years of experience in higher education, spanning marketing, teaching, and program development, Maya also brings insights from her roles as host of the Hidden Gem podcast on our very own Enrollify network and founder of College Crusader, a unique social media solution for community colleges. Thank you for joining us, Maya.
Thank you, Allison. This really is exciting to be on your podcast. I've been listening to your podcast for the last 6 months now. So I'm a big fan and I can't believe that I'm actually a guest. This is unreal.
Oh, well, I'm really happy to have you. And I think you've probably seen from some of my episodes and my LinkedIn content how passionate I am about this particular topic. So I'm really, really excited to get to talk to you more about it. Well, Maya, you have done two of, I think, some of the hardest jobs in higher ed marketing. One, website redesigns. Like there's not, I had a joke with a faculty member once that there's two most unappreciated jobs in a higher ed campus. And one is a website redesign and the other is reaccreditation, serving on those two committees.
Mhm.
Really, really sort of thankless jobs, right? Hard to get it right, hard to have everyone happy. And then fundraising, put that in there too. You've really done it all. Plus, in addition to, your quote unquote day job, you're also host of the Hidden Gem podcast and founder of College Crusader. So in a way, you are an example of what we're talking about here, using a personal brand in order to elevate your institution's brand as well. So tell me a little bit about what inspired getting involved with those ventures and how they complement your work at Carroll.
So I would say I've always been very entrepreneurial and I just enjoy finding a problem and finding a solution to that problem and not just figuring it out, but also implementing and creating a product and seeing that it actually helps address a certain need. So when I was thinking about these two companies, two projects, I would say, what they have in common is advocacy for community colleges. And
Yeah.
community colleges are vital to our national economy, but they are tremendously underutilized.
And underappreciated and underfunded. All the unders, Maya, all the unders.
And I believe they deserve a more
I do.
prominent narrative. I would say the premise for both of those projects is my belief that strategic marketing and communications can profoundly influence the future of community colleges. Working in this sector for the last 7 years, what I found is from a Marcom perspective, these institutions they face two issues. The first one is challenge of limited resources, like you mentioned, underfunded, and then that includes staffing and specialized marketing expertise because marketing is so specialized now. You need to have those,
Yes.
resources in
Yeah.
house to do a good job. And then the second issue is this conceptual gap of not all community college leaders fully recognizing the marketing communications as an indispensable strategic partner in advancing institutions. So, with those two projects, with the College Crusader in particular, I wanted to tackle the first issue, which is resource allocation and not having specialists in house, and to provide this social media marketing training and service to help them leverage social media, which, in my opinion, is one of the most cost effective and
Yeah.
efficient ways to get the message out to your very, very diverse audiences. So, College Crusader is all about helping colleges develop a strong strategy and compelling narratives and humanizing your college through student ambassadors and employees and fostering community engagement and ultimately educating your community on what we have to offer to them. And then with the Hidden Gem podcast, which is relatively new, we just launched it in March. I am hoping to illustrate the significant role marketing communication plays in amplifying the success of the institution. And I really hope that it grows into this go to resource for sharing strategies and knowledge and gaining new perspectives and for enabling leaders of the institution to access new strategies and get the best practices. And then for me personally, and I'm sure you can relate, through
Yeah.
hosting a podcast, you get to meet so many talented and amazing individuals and learn from them. This is, I don't know, helping me stay current, helping me stay in the know. It's a great professional development for me.
Oh, yeah. When my team knows that I'm recording an episode like this, I think that they're almost like hiding because they know I'm running out of the office with 5 more ideas because, oh, you got to hear so and so. I can't wait for you to hear this podcast. Yeah, you get so many great strategies and ideas because, and also I believe that sharing amongst ourselves will help our industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really one of those true believer people. We have some perception issues in higher ed. We need to work together
Mm-hmm.
on correcting those perception issues, and better marketing plays a role in that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally relate.
Yeah, so I'm able to bring those ideas back to my institution and, be a better marketer and communicator through
Yeah.
this experience. And I
Mm.
would say, sharing, I think what's unique about community colleges, unlike other institutions, we are not competing with each other. We
Yeah.
are part of this
They're
educational.
serving your
Yes,
community.
we serve
Yeah.
our county, our community, and we are part of a bigger ecosystem. And when one institution succeeds, it elevates other institutions, like
So
this
great.
concept of the rising tides raise all
Lift all
boats.
boats.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's the same idea is helping one institution helps the entire sector of community colleges. And I think that's where I see my contribution is providing tools and resources to empower leaders and marketers in the community college sector to help each other and to raise each other
Yeah.
up. So
And it's sort of the same idea when it comes to this employee advocacy program that you've all launched at Carroll, right? It's about empowering people and raising them up. So can you talk to us a little bit about what is an employee advocacy program and what is its significance in the context of higher education?
I think social media is where community colleges should be more focused and where we can get the most impact and help educate our community. And I know most higher ed institutions are investing in flagship accounts, right? We are trying to
Yeah,
grow
of
and
course. Yeah.
manage our online presence. But what I think is maybe under, I don't know, utilized
Up-
or under leveraged is the internal resource of faculty and staff. We often think, don't think that our brand expands beyond those accounts. But I see that
yeah.
every faculty, staff, and student and alumni, they all serve as an extension of our college's brand. And I like to use this analogy of, imagine dark skies. And then in the middle of the dark black sky is one very bright star. So that's your flagship account. That's the one you are investing in and managing. But this universe, digital universe, will never be as bright and as brilliant as the one where it has a lot of small stars around it. And maybe some stars are bigger, some are smaller. But together, we can create a very vibrant environment, very robust digital presence that helps amplify our reach, our visibility, and that's what I believe in. Faculty and staff
Yeah.
can help us achieve. So it's important for me to harness this um, inherent influence of these college leaders and faculty and staff. And I think there's a lot of benefits to both the institution and the person participating in this program. One thing that I noticed when we talk about employee advocacy, some people call it employee activation, a lot of people think that it's a way of marketing to provide branded messages to faculty and staff and have them share it on their personal accounts,
Yes,
right?
I agree. That's what mostly people respond with, and I I think you're gonna be on the same page as me. That's not gonna be the most effective way actually to get out your brand because it's not authentic.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
people can see right through it. They're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is pre-approved
Oh,
branded message, and they just kind of
yeah.
post it on their account. Who wants to follow this?
And also, I don't love the idea of making people feel like they have to post something produced by the college on their personal social media accounts. For me,
Hmm.
that just doesn't feel right, doesn't sit right.
Right. I completely agree. So when I talk about this program, I usually start with what is it not? So it's not that.
Ah, I like that. Yeah, it's
Right,
not
it's
that.
not that what it is, it's about empowering your faculty and staff to create their personal and professional brand online. And we always try to stress that you're working on creating a professional brand, and Carol is a backdrop of your brand. You happen to work
Mm.
at a community college right now, but you should be able to create a brand where you leave the institution, but the brand stays, right? It's not something that's related to your employer. And that's a big shift for people to kind of realize that it's not the college's brand, it's your personal brand. You just happen to work at the college. And then we also try to encourage them to think outside of their current job responsibilities and what are their interests, because we are all human beings and we do a lot more than just work. We might have hobbies, we might have certain interests, we might be doing consulting or writing books, and all of that makes you a more interesting individual, and reflects better on the institution because you work at this institution and you are such an interesting person. So that's what we were trying to do with this training is do not that but this.
That really helps frame up what we're talking about here because I think part of the thing with the idea of employee advocacy and using employee personal brands to build the larger brand is that it feels so big.
Hmm.
And I think it can feel overwhelming and it can feel intimidating. So I like how you've parsed it out that way.
We also named this program differently just because of this reason. So people don't think of employee advocacy, but we called it employee impact initiative. So
Oh, I love
it's a
that.
bit broader. It's not just about advocacy, but it's about different ways faculty and staff and leaders can contribute to increasing awareness and exposure of the institution.
Can you share a success story or a specific example that's come out of this program at Carroll?
I think one of the successes of this program is first our ability to gain leadership support to actually launch a program like this, because it wasn't an easy sell, right? It's not very obvious the benefit right away. So by
Mm,
engaging our leaders and helping them see the value and having them actively be engaged in this program, I think is a huge success for the institution because they do lead by example, and they embrace this opportunity to contribute. So that's one of the successes. I would say that this program is new, so this is our first year running the program, but we are already seeing increased visibility online. And one of the concrete examples that just happened recently was one of the employees was able to make a connection on LinkedIn that led to the development of a program at the college. So this particular employee, he does workforce program development. So he's been hearing from industry leaders that they need more specialists who know how to solder, electronics manufacturing, and he's been trying to launch this program for a while now, but he couldn't find the right partner to help develop this program with the right expertise. So he posted on LinkedIn saying, "This is what we're trying to do, looking for partners." And the same day, he was able to make a connection, find the partner, and they're currently developing a program that will be launching soon. So this is like a small example, right? Like posting something can lead to program development. It's a small thing, but it's kind of the same idea as we need to do more telling than doing. We do stuff, but we
yeah.
don't talk about it. So if we don't, no one will find out that we're actually looking for something like this. It's like the tree in the forest that falls. If no one is observing, did it really fall?
Yeah.
No one would ever
True.
know.
You wouldn't know. And I love this example in particular because it was not promotional in nature. It wasn't promotional in nature for the employee. It wasn't promotional in nature for the community college, but it was.
Hmm.
It just wasn't obviously promotional. And I think that is sort of a key to this strategy because it's not just spouting out all the great things that are happening at the college. That's not what anyone's asking you to do here. Everyone's just asking you to tell your story and use your networks when you're trying to
Yeah.
do your job and promote yourself and make impact on the institution. That's what it's really about. It's more simple, I think, than people are probably picturing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I hear a lot when we do the training. They're like, "Well, I'm not a thought leader. What am I going to talk about? Who am I to actually share on social media?" And I always say, you have your unique experiences, you have your unique challenges and things that you go through that other people will relate to, and it's all about just sharing your story, like you said.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. Don't
Yeah.
make it bigger than it should be. It's like talking to a friend about what happened today. It's the same idea. And I would also share in terms of successes. Before we launched this program at Carroll, I did a qualitative study. I interviewed 10 community college presidents who are active on social media, and I wanted to find out why they continue to invest in building their personal brand and what impact it had on them personally and the institution. And based on the results I got from the study, I created this framework called social leadership framework that kind of outlines, why it's important to be on social media and how you can become a social leader. But what I wanted to say in terms of results, many of the community college presidents shared that they had significant results from being present and visible online. And it ranges from changing perceptions about your institution in the community to gaining support from industry leaders and legislation to raising millions of dollars for students to support a variety of
Wow.
different initiatives. So just being visible and present can have a huge impact on the institution.
Yeah. And so obviously social media is core
Hmm.
to this entire idea of employee impact. Is that the main part of the training? What's the training for this program look like?
Yeah, so social media is the core because I think that's where we can make the most impact and reach the largest number of people. So the training consists of three different sessions. We do it in small groups, usually 6 to 8 people in each group. And it includes talking about the college's value, the mission. So we want to make sure they really understand the brand and who we are. we talk about what are their values and how their values align with the institutional values. Then we talk about who's their target audience, who do they actually want to talk to on social media, and where can they make the biggest impact, and who would benefit from learning from their experience. So really understanding the audience. Next step is developing their personal brand value proposition, like who am I? Who am I and what value can I bring to LinkedIn in particular, because that's the network where we started, is LinkedIn. And then we help them develop their personal brand pillars. Like, what are the things they're really passionate about? What do they want to talk about on social media? And then help them brainstorm ideas for different topics for each of the pillars. Um, and then we go into how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and like the tactics of how to actually do it, how to create a post, how to use ChatGPT and AI tools, and how not to
Wow.
overuse them and make it sound like ChatGPT just writes all of your content.
Yeah. Oh, you can spot a
Oh
ChatGPT
yeah,
LinkedIn post from a mile away, and I'm always tempted to comment or message those people and say, use ChatGPT, but then you have to refine it. You don't know just copy and paste.
I
But
know. Yeah,
that's an aside.
and that's exactly what I want to help them, understand,
Yeah.
because we,
Do it the right way.
yeah,
Do it the human way.
yeah,
Yeah.
we see it, right? Because we see it
Yeah.
every day, like all of those last sentence, let's celebrate the success of
Oh
blah blah.
yeah. With the emojis that lead the line. Oh yeah.
Yeah. um so helping them understand how to craft a good post, what should it look like. Then we give them some homework and they come back and we look at, okay, what are some of the posts you did, we help them correct, make
Ooh,
changes.
I love that.
And then we meet regularly to kind of just support them and provide guidance and coaching, because, and I follow all of them on social media. And if I see something, I would message them like, hey, this is a great post, but it would have been better if you added a picture of what you were doing, for example, or don't include those emojis at the end because it's too obvious that it's ChatGPT. So providing like small coaching tips along the way helps them feel more involved and they're learning and engaging. um, and I think with social media in particular, when you're just starting out, it could be very lonely. You could be posting things and no one is responding and no one is
Yes, it's
engaging,
true. Yes.
and you're like, am I doing a good job? Like, is it me? Like, what is happening? So
Yeah.
I think it's really important to have this built-in support system, of people just like them going through this experience, and us as coaches helping them feel motivated and encouraging them to continue growing and using the platform. So that's kind of the training outline.
It's really, really impressive. So what are some ways if we're going to start running a program like this? And honestly, it sounds like more than a training to me because you have set it up to be so sustainable.
Hmm.
It's really almost a system that you've developed, which is really inspiring. How do you measure the success of a program like this? Like, what metrics are you paying attention to know that the time and the resources that you're all putting into it as the marketing team are worth it because you have so few of that?
Hmm. And sometimes it's not obvious right away,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes
It might take time to build.
the most
Yeah.
meaningful tactics or strategies are not easily tracked. But in this case, we can track a lot of it. So I look at brand awareness. I look at how many people do we have actively posting on LinkedIn, and what is the exposure they're helping create, how many impressions they get on their personal page, how many shares, etc. So measuring the activity on their personal brand. And that's something I ask them to track and report back because I don't have access to
Hmm.
their personal
Yeah,
account.
of course. Yeah.
Then we also look at the college's account. Is it growing? Are we getting more people to visit our LinkedIn page? So anything related to our account on LinkedIn. We also look at referral traffic to the website. Are we getting more traffic from LinkedIn going to our website, to different news and articles, etc.? Tracking things that are not easily measurable, like potential partnerships or these anecdotes, like I just mentioned. I can't track it, but the person has to kind of noted and let me know that this actually happened. So any new opportunities, any new connections, any new partnerships that arise from those connections on LinkedIn, all of those I really want to know. We also see our leaders and faculty and staff, they go to a lot of meetings in the community, and it's very interesting to see how many people say, well, I heard you got new program you just launched, or I heard this. So they're getting those pieces of information from social media or other places, and they're sharing with college communities. So different anecdotes like this also help kind of show that it's working and people are talking about us.
This is way more long term, Maya, but I have to imagine there could be an employee retention metric in this. So the
Interesting.
employees that have gone through this, because feels like an added bonus. It feels like a way to feel more connected to the community.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might find something there. So something to maybe look at long term.
That's interesting. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a benefit because if you think about it, um, for community colleges, we have a lot of adjunct faculty. And those adjuncts, they might be teaching evening classes, but they might be running a business
Yeah.
or they might be consulting. So it really helps them personally and professionally. It's a win-win situation for the college.
Yeah, and their engagement might be very minimal outside of
Mm-hmm.
this. It might just be I'm teaching even maybe my online class on one night a week, and that is my connection point, but this is establishing a much stronger connection point. So kudos to all of
Mm-hmm.
you. I really think that this is the most robust idea and system I have heard so far of a college or university embracing this idea of empowering our employees to have really strong personal brands and uplift
Mm-hmm.
the institutional brand in doing so. So I'm positive that there's people out there right now listening to this and they're really inspired to try to start their own employee impact program. So what's one piece of advice you would give them to get started?
Okay, one piece of advice. Can I give more than one?
All right.
I would say before launching something like this, you really need to take a closer look at your culture. Are your employees really happy? Will they be great ambassadors? Because if they're not happy, I think this type of program can hurt more than it can help the institution. So really think about that first. And then I would say start with your leadership. Make sure your leaders are bought in and they participate in this and they lead by example. Um, because without their support, I think it would be hard to pull something like this off. Um,
That's a good
so,
point.
yeah, those would be two pieces of advice. But if somebody wants to start a program like this, I have developed a guide for kind of selling this program to your president and your executive team and some steps for getting started. So if anyone is interested, go to my LinkedIn profile and send me a message that says application. And then I will know to send you this guide. And if you're interested, I can also share the research I did with the community college presidents and the framework I've developed. It might also be a great resource for developing the training internally. Um, so yeah, do that. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see how
All
many
right.
people
So
message me.
first steps are reach out to Maya and you'll find a link to her LinkedIn profile in the show
There you
notes
go.
of this podcast. So it'll be easy to find her. Maya, it's been incredibly insightful to have you on the application. Thank you for joining me in this fun crossover episode.
Thank you so much, Allison. It was fun.
And everyone go check out the Hidden Gem podcast. It's focused on community colleges, but valuable for all of us. So definitely go check that out. Thanks to our listeners for joining us once again. If you love the show, make sure to check out the other Enrollify shows and also give us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. The application is part of the Enrollify Podcast Network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed tech shows that are jam-packed stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea. And they feature a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Jamie Hunt, Seth Odell, Day Kibbolds, Jeremy Tiers, and so many other of your favorite higher ed leaders. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.